funny. I got these two mics. Like that. Oh, jeez. Go over here. There you go. Double the mic, double the fun. Waiting for people to start joining, and then we'll move on. Finish the car tonight. So we're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. My cup of coffee. Welcome everyone. Now on today's live, we're going away from the Volkswagen scene because I got a customer car I got to finish. We're working on a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS. We're doing the timing chain, which is done. We're doing the timing cover. So I had to leave. I ended up going to the movies with my family. My daughter's like, we want to go see a movie. So here in Arkansas, on Tuesdays, movies, if you go to the theater, it's $5 a person. Okay? It's a pretty good deal, not gonna lie. $5 a person is a killer deal for a movie. So my daughter's like, let's go see a movie. I'm all like, I don't know what we're gonna go see. So we ended up watching Supergirl today. And it was okay. It wasn't good. It was watchable. However, I love Jason Momoa as Lobo. That was a cool character. He really, really played Lobo the way he's supposed to be played. The only thing is that they downplayed his strength. And I was a little annoyed by that. Lobo's pretty dang strong, and they downplayed him like he was just like just an immortal with no strength. It was kind of annoying. But besides that, though, it was a good movie. Again, not great. Definitely worth $5 to go watch it. I would not pay full price to go see that movie. Just heads up. All right. So I don't know if you remember the timing cover yesterday, but I mean earlier today. Look how beautiful it turned out. Not too bad, right? Not too shabby. Came out really clean. So this is from a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS model. It's time to put we put a brand new front main seal. Where's the old one? Here it is. So we pressed in the new one. Here's the old one. That's gone. So now we have this. Now, I did buy a bottle RTV. All right? Before you start yelling at the screen and saying, what? You said no RTV. There is a little bit of RTV required during this install. All right? So let's swing you guys over here so you guys can see what I mean about RTV during this install. All right, guys? Now we're over here. Guys, let's see if I can swing you guys around. Oh, this is backwards. That's why. There you go. So YouTube. There we go. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this, but right here where my finger's touching, there's a uneven surface here. This is where the head meets the block, and there's a gap. You require to put RTV there. Got it? That is required. That gap will seep oil and it will leak oil, guaranteed. So you require a little bit, and that's the same on both sides of this. Why not anaerobic adhesive? I don't use it. I mean, it's such a tiny little spot. You don't need much of it. So we need to put just a tiny bit of RTV here and there. Nothing crazy. Again, super minimal. And then when you work your way around, one of the big things on here on your timing cover, you have to pay attention where oil is going to be coming through. Okay? They don't give you an O-ring here. That's right here in the middle of the block. So you are going to need to slap a little RTV here. It can seep through where the bolt goes through right here. Okay, guys? Just recommend you just put it right around the metal surface. Don't fill in that hole with RTV. Just put it around here, and I'll show you guys how to do it. So you need a little bit of RTV there. You follow your gasket downhill, go around, no major issues. Now here, you'll see here where there's a huge curve. You can put a tiny bit of RTV here. Okay, the reason for this is see how this gasket curves like crazy? Whenever you have sharp turns or sharp curves, you need to put a little bit of RTV there sometimes. It just helps for a leak, and you want to kind of slap it on the edge of this just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. What car? It's a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS. So we want to put a little bit of RTV here and here, because the gasket curves really heavily here. Again, I'll show you how to do this correctly so you guys don't smother this with crazy amount. Okay, follow the curve. No crazy curves here. All nice and clean. All nice here. Nothing. Nothing else needs RTV. You see that? That's all you need. All right. So here, around this bolt hole here, and then the two spots that I mentioned on the block, where the block meets the head, right here, on both sides. And you can feel it. You don't have to look at this one. And we'll show you guys how to do it. Be right back. I'm gonna go grab some RTV. I bought a new bottle, but I want to be sure I have some extra ones. Alright, don't have any more, so we'll use what we have. Alright. Now there's a bunch of different RTVs you can use. For this application, we're going to use traditional black RTV. Nothing special. Again, it's not like we're sealing up an entire valve cover. We're just putting a dab. All right. I agree. Do not use RTV. Use 2 out of FIPG, but we don't have that because we know no one carries that locally. I'm in the middle of nowhere in Arkansas. So just so you know, you use what you have available. All right. So you put, I'm not kidding, a teardrop. Got it? Teardrop. You're going to put it on that seam where it's leaking, where it could potentially leak. And you're going to smear it outwards, okay, towards the intake manifold, not into, okay, not into the galleys, all right? And you're going to lay it thin. And you want to lay it so thin that it looks like paper, like you just got it on there. That's it. You'll notice I have a bunch of it left over. We cleaned it with the razor, and then we went through it with alcohol to clean the surface again. You did timing? Yes, sir. I did the timing chain on this car. I love doing timing chains on Toyotas and like chain-driven cars because they're super easy. All right, so now we're going to find the same crack on the other side of the block. Here it is. And we're going to rinse and repeat. Again, you want to fill in that hole. I didn't even get that much on there. I gotta go back, clean that off again, and do it again. It's not getting on there nicely. You have about 10 minutes before the RTV gets a little too tacky and it's not gonna do its job really well. But you want it to get tacky in about a minute or two, because that's how it's gonna stick to the car better. I mean, to the timing cover a lot better. Again, a teardrop of RTV goes a very long way on this stuff. I found you. right. Whatever you have left over, like I was mentioning you guys before, yeah, you're supposed to let it settle a little bit. You never put RTV on there and then you how do you say, slap on the cover. Then it doesn't get really tacky and it doesn't do its job very well. You want to let it dry a little bit, not a lot, okay? You put it on and you smear it really thin. The thinner you can get the RTV on here, the better. Believe it or not, the less is more in this situation. So whatever I have left over from my RTV applying here, we're gonna apply this on this one corner. We're gonna do the same over here. We're gonna apply it right here. Again, there's not much needed in this spot. If you get it on the gasket, no big deal. You can wipe it off. Try not to get RTV on the gasket. The last spot is we're gonna do is right over here on the top. You're gonna grab, again, look at this. This is what I do. Literal like freaking teardrop of RTV. You don't need much. And it does a lot. Right here, you're gonna smear it right around the seam of this bolt hole. Because this is where it mates to the block and you have a potential for a leak. There's an O-ring that's supposed to be in here and I didn't get a new O-ring with the gasket set that I came with, so we're gonna have to make a simple one. If you slap a ton of RTV on here and it looks like a glob, then you did it wrong. But look, see how nice and flat that is? You want it flat. The flatter, the better, my friends. All right, so we got RTV down here in this little corner. This is just a preventative measure for this. We're not really depending on that. The gasket's still doing its job. You'll notice there's no RTV all over any of this except for 1, 2, 3 spots on the timing cover and then the 2 on the block. That's it. There's no more sharp spots on this. Yeah, we're still working on the Celica. Ali, the 3 printers, they're the K1Cs, the K2s. I use them to make prototype parts. Not toys, but parts. All right, so we're gonna go down nice and slow because we're running out of time. Oops. Hold on. There we go. We're running out of time, so we got to do this. Because the longer we take, the more this stuff dries. And we don't want to catch the gasket on anything so it gets pulled out. Go. Almost there. There we go. The next step is to get it around that bolt that's over here. This is the hardest, next hardest part. This is the bolt that's right here. It's super tight. This is where I had a huge headache. This one piece right here. They give you a bolt that's longer than a damn block, which I don't know why. It's a stud, I'm sorry, a stud. And it's in the way. by like a mile, and I hated this when I was doing this earlier. So this is where it gets really annoying, right? 2000 Toyota, yeah, we saw that last night, right? Yeah, we're just getting this one bolt in. Once I get this bolt in, we're good to go. Just gotta be careful with touching stuff that I'm not supposed to be touching. It has RTV on it. Kind of defeats the purpose. There's like a sweet spot to this one spot right here. It's annoying because it shouldn't have that. There should be more than enough space to get that on there without this amount of effort, but there isn't. This is one hose that kind of plays the annoyance here. Jeez, come on. So we're caught here. Ay. It's the power steering line that prevents it from going on. Now we're caught on something though down here, because of course, why wouldn't we be caught on something? All right, give me a second. I'll turn you guys around really quick. I need the arm space here. I know, seriously. But I'm almost there. Just gotta be patient. This timing cover right here. And it's just, I got it out. I know it fits. To go up a little bit higher, I think. It's just missing by like a millimeter or two. There it is. Come on. Come on, buddy. Oh, jeez. I'm not kidding you. It's like right there. I'm installing it. Removing it was easier than putting it back in. I'm not kidding you. It's like right there. Should be no reason it should be harder to put it in than it is to take it out. But for some reason it is. Stupid Toyota. Actually, Yamaha. Yamaha did this, not Toyota. Stupid Yamaha. There we go. Woo! Finally on. Now we gotta get behind all of it. What's going on here? Are we not? No. You're not coming out. You're caught on the bottom now. So now we're caught on the bottom, but we're on. What's going on, Marco? What's up, pal? Vacay in the North Carolina. Went to bed, but it's only 8. I know, right? Rob the beard. But yeah, so we got the bolt, the timing cover on one side, but the water pump is still stuck on one part here, and it's getting caught at the bottom of the timing cover by something. Something's preventing me from moving it, like clocking it this way. I can't see it. Oh, now I see it. Power steering pump. That's why. I gotta push this hose back here. It's supposed to go back. Out of the way. Here we go. Andamos, mi amigo. Jeez. There we go. Woo! Who's this on here? Who's joined my live? Who's joining the live?
How are you?
Pretty good. What are you doing, huh? What's going on? You got nothing to say? Au revoir, mi amigo. There you go. All right, timing cover is done. It's installed. You have, again, about 10 to 15 minutes before that RTV starts to cure and not do its job anymore. So what you want to do, you want to get hardware, kind of like in a star pattern. Obviously, you can't do a star pattern, but you want to get it in areas that you can get it in. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, what's going to happen is it will harden and it'll make a spot for it to leak. So you don't want that to happen. So you want to get yourself your hardware. There's 3 12s on the side of this. You got to remember that. And then you got to do all the other 10s that hang out on top. kind of made a little baggie for my hardware. Or a towel bag, I guess. Oh no, this is for the pump. Woo. All right. So here you go. Now you have these longer 12 millimeter ones. These go on the bottom of the timing cover. You have these two short ones that go also on the bottom. This guy, and then everything else goes around the timing cover. So you got to remember that. See this? This is why, jeez. I should have cleaned all the hardware, but I want to go spend time with my family. Let's see, water pump goes around here. One here. One here. Again, hand tighten. Do not tighten this or over. Do not set it to spec, okay? Just hand tight. So this would have been done like 2-3 hours ago, but like I said, I went to go have a movie night with my fam. So I'm only gonna wait until the gasket goes down. Just right there. I'm not gonna get any tighter than that. Okay. Again, you don't want to torque anything down at all. All right, let's get around towards the back here. There is a sneaky 10, by the way. Dirty Rat and Clean Cat. Yeah, see you, Mr. L. Hope to see you again. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the answering my question. Again, I'm only doing around the cover where there's RTV. Everything else, I'm just going to worry about along the way. So there's a sneaky 10 right here. Okay, and we're going to go down here. Now before we tighten anything, we need to double check that front main seal that it went in nice and smooth, which I am very doubtful right now, but I hope it did. All right, that's bolted down lightly, no tension at all on it. I mean, I could probably take them off by hand, but I gotta double check this front main seal. All right, we're looking good. No damage. So the front main seal seals with the harmonic balancer. Let me find that for you guys. Okay. So this is our harmonic balancer. All right, guys. Another term for it is a fluid dampener. Okay, make sure this is as clean as you can get this, because this is where it seals the gasket, okay? If you do not have this super clean, it's gonna leak oil. I promise you that. So you want to go through here and just wipe it as good as you can by hand. When you finally bolt everything down, then you put this on there, okay? Hey, Mr. PincheAls, good evening. Hey, what's up, VastFab? Thanks for tuning in. Okay? Again, one more time. This is what seals the front of your motor from oil. If for any reason it starts leaking oil, you put this in wrong, it bent the lip or did something, okay? There is a keyway right here. Throw some oil on it, yep, that helps a lot. Throw a little bit of oil right here on it, it'll slide right in. You can also spit on it, no matter. Something that'll lubricate it for you. It's fine, it won't hurt it. It's covered in oil. A lot of people are like, oh, they gotta go in dry. Yeah, you can go in dry, you can go in raw, raw dog it, or just slap a little oil on it. You're fine, it's not gonna kill anything. I promise you. All right. There's another little, again, there's a hidden 10 that you can't forget, because if you forget it, you're gonna leak oil. Right over here. Cool. All right. There's an O-ring that goes right here. Big old chonking O-ring, this guy right here. Hey now. So this right here is the water pump gasket. This is the actual water pump gasket. It sits right here, where the water pump resides, right here. That's where it sits. You don't put any RTV on that. You got that? That goes in just like that. And you put the pump on top of it. No. Good morning. Hey, Das Otto, my friends from Germany. Welcome. Again, one more time. You put nothing on that. Nothing. Nothing goes on that O-ring. You just put the dang... this is a metal impeller water pump. Let me see where it's at. It's right here. Here it is. So right here. Okay, beautiful. Glue it and send it. Right, team men. All right. This is it. This is, there's no need. You see this is a machine surface. You see that? It's machined for a reason. For it to have a gasket on it or an O-ring, not RTV. RTV's the devil. All right. So we're going to go over here. I'm going to find my orientation so I know where all these bolts. There's 6 bolts on this water pump, by the way, which to me is ridiculous. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, 6 bolts to hold a water pump. 2 in which are completely useless, but they're there. Brand new hardware to hold the water pump in place. Okay. Brand new bolts. Why? Because that's the right thing to do, is to put brand new hardware on your water pump. So the hardware that you took off just right now, you're gonna not reuse it. I'm just test fitting it, making sure these are the right threads, because sometimes they'll just throw hardware in there and be like the wrong stuff, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to do that. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Oh, there's one I gotta put on. Where are you? Here you go. I gotta put this one on. I think this is the long one. No, that's a short one. Okay, that's for that sensor that goes there. All right, so these bolts are the wrong bolts that they provide you with. So we're going to reuse some old water pump bolts. They don't work. Gotta love aftermarket stuff. There's Freddy. I know should be Freddy's up here, and you're not you. Time for some coffee. My shop cats. This is a Toyota F-150 GTS Celica from 2000. Yeah. It's a Toyota Celica GTS 2000. All right, so water pump, hardware, disappointed. Did not come with the right stuff in the box. But what do you expect? It's aftermarket. Happens all the time. These are the bigger ones, and the small ones. .6 VR block, nice. Thought first a little extra paint in the glass to do the cat. No, it's coffee. It's actually my first cup of coffee today. I kind of refused to drink some coffee today in the morning. I told my wife, let me have it tonight because I'm going to be up a little late. Because I got to do this. Once I'm done with the timing, I got to do the suspension on this car tonight. Possibly. Or just wake up super early in the morning to finish it. Kind of torn, you know? Where's my 10? So how's everybody doing tonight? Thought a little, oh, okay. Can I hold that dang light steady so I can remember Dad? Well, I'm the only one here. So the good thing is I have a light that's hanging, so I'm sorry. It's useful. All right, there's one more down below. And the water pump is now pretty much installed. You know, it's sad to say I never met my father. I know who he is, I know what he looks like, but I've never met him. People in my family say I've met him before, but I've never actually like say, oh yeah, that's my dad. You know? It's pretty crazy. You know? I've never been curious about meeting my dad either. You know? I'm kind of one of those people. A lot of my family members like, you should meet your dad for closure. Like, close what? He left us, and he never came back. When do you need me to close? That's a pretty solid closed case, you know what I mean? 10 mil to finish that down there. What, Shabri? You want to come up here? Here. Look. There's Shabri. Hey, this is my black cat. You saw the orange one. Just chilling. Yeah, Subarus is one of the more expensive cars to work on just because they tend to fail a lot. But this is Shabri. You know, they are dependable cars. The older models are way more dependable than the newer ones. I've heard nothing but horror stories on the newer models. Freaking garbage. That's all I've heard on newer Subarus. You better off without them. People like are abusive and selfish and stay. You would be carrying more drama. I agree. Yeah, I agree. I like that perspective towards it. Now the annoyance is that I carry his name. His middle name I actually have. And I kind of, how do you say, kept it. When I got married, I had the opportunity to remove him from my name because he's part of my middle name. And my middle name, just so you guys know, is Xavier, spelt with an X, just like him. And I've always hated that name growing up. And my last name is Varela. V as in Victor, A-R-E-L-A. That is my last name. And I've always, how do you say, had a negative perspective towards my name and my family name because I've never had anything good come out of them. You know what I mean? So when I got married, I told my mom and I told my wife, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to put the effort and make my name positive and make sure my son, my daughter have a father until the end. Be the actual better dad, you know what I mean? Because he was a deadbeat, 100%. What's funny, I've met my uncle, so my dad's brother. I've met him quite a few times and never knew he was my uncle. So this is how you know how much the world is so small, right? This is such a great attitude. Hey, what up? Let me set your children off with a great influence from a great father. Yeah. The cross track? I don't know about the cross track. I'm sorry. I tend not to keep how do you say, an ear out for newer cars. So his name's Papa Marco. He's known as Marco. And have you seen my 10 millimeter? There's a couple here. It might be yours. I have one right here. And I have another one here. His name's Marcos. And he goes by Papa Marcos. He's in the air-cooled community out in LA. And I've gone to a ton of air-cooled shows. And apparently I met him a lot of times without realizing it. And one day I was on Facebook, and for some reason, my little brother, you know, I love my little brother to death, but he does some things that really get under my skin. And he made a Facebook group for my dad and our family, which I have no connection to, no ties. Okay? I've never met a single person on my dad's side of the family. Not at all. And my little brother is all like, we need to meet them. Let's make a Facebook page. I'm like, bro, it's not going to end well, man. These people don't know you, and you don't know them, and they're not traditional Hispanics, dude. It's like, you got to be careful. He's like, what? You got to be careful, man. I told him, I go, I'm not saying that Mexicans are mean and stuff like that, but no one knows you. It's an automatic, unfortunately. I go, no one knows you on that side of the family, and no one knows anything about you, besides the fact that you made this Facebook group for everybody that's in our family on my dad's side. So he does this, right? Again, this is him telling me, because I don't know if this was true or not, but he made a Facebook group. A bunch of the family on my dad's side decided to make like kind of like a reunion. Let's meet each other. Let's meet each other for the first time. I didn't go. Hell no. I know better. So he goes and he meets a bunch of the family. Of course, Uncle Marco's there. So that's again, my dad's brother, Marcos. He's there. He meets Sammy. He's really cool, pretty positive. But I told my brother, I go, bro, they're hardcore like LA guys, man. We didn't grow up in LA, even though we were born. Even though we were born and raised in LA, we never grew up with an LA attitude or a lifespan, right? So he goes, and everybody's just like mad dogging him and like just being dicks. And he just said, he told me, this is what he told me. Again, I don't know if this is true or not. My brother is a pathological liar, so it's hard to believe a lot of stuff he says. But either way, he goes and he comes back and tells me, he's like, dude, it was the most awkward, like, inspector is already watching your work. I know, right? The cats. And he's like, dude, they were all assholes. I couldn't have a good time. It was just, they were like inspecting me. Like they were trying to like analyze who I was. I'm gonna go, dude, you're 30 something years old and you're trying to meet our family for the first time. All these are grown people. Most of them are like hood. Most of them are gangsters. And you expect them to greet you with open arms? I'm like, bro, you stupid. He's like, but I thought. I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna be a part of this. I told you, I pre-warned you. And he was just mad depressed because, older brother, me, was right. And he was wrong. And then pretty much the Facebook group fell apart after that. And I was just like, I told you, bro. Doesn't like it, Older brother, has got some wisdom. And I've been around a while, you know what I mean? But no, I still talk to my uncle, my brother's dad. Still talk to him on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm not like a total asshole, but I talk to him and stuff like that. He's pretty cool. Haha, you and my white guy always around all the paisas at the events. I'm always getting mad dog. Right, fool? Right? I'm always the white guy at all the Mexican events, dude. It's just because I'm built different. I'm made different. I'm here to be positive and be a positive influence with people. And I guess some of the people just don't like that shit, But oh well, I'm not losing sleep over it. My life has been better. All right. So now here's the hydraulic tensioner. All right, guys. I need you guys to see this right here. This is a hydraulic tensioner. Bavatos and paisas are different still. Well, of course they are. 100%. Yeah, hard first though about, oh no, that's just AI summary. All right, just so you guys know, there's a little clip right here that you have to like knock out and pop it in to put on the tensioner, okay? That's what you have to do. And then the way this pops out, from what I'm looking at, it's just a little clip. And I think you yank this one out. I gotta confirm this. I don't actually know. I've never done this one on this car. So, the old one. Oh wow, it just stays on there. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, you just take the clip out. I've had to cut ties with people because they would always speak against me for always thinking. And when you turn the engine chain, it will push it and release the lock. So are you saying I just put it in like this and it'll do it on its own? Speaking positive, you're not alone. Always, bro. One more time to Jay Isby. Turn it by hand after install. So when I put this in the engine, I mean in here, without taking the clip off, because I mean it's not even on here tight. I can take it off by hand, literally take it off by hand. You're saying this goes in and it goes off. Very interesting. That's why it faces down on install. Very cool. Do you have a hold down tools installed so the timing chain or cams don't move, or are Subarus different? Subarus are different. So on this chain today, yeah. Okay, cool. No, I like that. No, I like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. What's really cool, you don't need to lock the cams at all. The intake cam has a lot of tension on it when you have no chain. And when you put the chain on it, you rotate the intake cam forward and you lock it on the chain. Put a zip tie on the chain so it doesn't back out on you when you're installing the bottom cog. You get the cog, you put it on the marker on the bottom cog, put it in, put the guides on, and that's it. Make sure your timing marks are set on top. You have quite a few of them. You have the little dots down here. There's 2 dots in the middle of the cog. They have to line up to these 2 gears. And then you have the marks on top of the gears for the actual marking on the chain. And then you have one on the bottom. Everything is done for you, so easy. This engine is one of the easiest to time because there's tons of markers to get you timed correctly. Yeah. So you don't have to lock anything down. It's so easy. So easy. All right. So I'm listening to that guy. I believe him. Put a lockpick down there and you can unlock by pushing a little bit. Oh, cool. All right, we're going to get this guy on. Very nice, it's inside. That went in so nicely. Now, no RTVs needed. It's got an O-ring. All right. That's installed. So we got that taken care of. Water pump is done. Timing cover is getting finished up. We got a couple bolts left. And then we're pretty much done. This was for the bracket. So I'm not worried about that one. This was for the alternator. Not worried about that one. There's an extra couple. Oh, forgot to mention earlier. So I did have an issue trying to hunt down a crank sensor O-ring. Not available. No one, I mean, it's an old ass car. So of course it's going to be not available. So I have to put RTV on the crankcase sensor, unfortunately, which I, again, dread wholeheartedly by like a mile. I'm not a fan of RTV. I don't try to put it on there unless I have to. And on this car, unfortunately, I have to on the crank sensor. Unfortunately, it's going to leak. I'm going to tell the owner of the car that it's going to leak. So I recommend that you get the O-ring as soon as possible. And literally, it's one screw that holds the whole thing. Just pull the O-ring off, clean it all off, pop in the new one. You're done. Problem solved. I'm probably going to order one. I'll probably ask them if they'll let me order it. And I'll order one for this engine so we can prevent that oil leak from happening long term, because eventually it will leak. I mean, A little RTV will solve the problem temporarily, but it's not a fix. We have to put a new O-ring in there. And that's on the crank position sensor that's on the bottom. All right. So all those are nice and tight. We're gonna torque spec these in a little bit. Just paying attention to see what other hardware I need before I put anything else on. Because there's quite a few extra bolts here. These are the 312s that sit on the side of the block. And then we have a few down here as well. One here. One here. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 more 10 millimeters. And that should solve that problem. Now the next hardest part from here is that power steering pump. Have you guys ever done this engine before? Anybody has ever walked around this? Honestly, the hardest thing on here is the power steering pump. I gotta go, homie. Love you. So glad to see you. All right, thanks, buddy. Dude, do you have a hold tool? No. Just go to the hardware store. You have to make sure you get O-rings for oil, though, man. So you gotta be careful. This is a ZZ230 Celica with a 1.8, 1.1 ZZ FE. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is that it's a 2000 Celica GTS. So it's the GTS model, the performance model, heavy quotations. So it has a Yamaha engine in it. That's all I know. This is not a Toyota, it's a Yamaha with a Toyota shell. Kind of like the BMW, not the BMW, yeah, the BMW Supra. It's a Toyota with a BMW pretty much heart. So it's a BMW Z4. I mean, a Toyota Z4 Supra. That's what that is. It's a cool car, don't get me wrong, but it's not a Toyota. Punch you, Freddy. Okay. All right. all the hardware down there. We just need the little short ones for the bottom of the timing cover. Let's see. Anybody got any questions before I move forward and finish this off? I gotta get the, oh, do me a favor, anybody watching right now, do me a big favor. Look up the torque specifications for the timing cover. Should be 8 to 10 foot-pounds, maybe 12 tops. But can someone on here please get me the torque specifications for the timing cover on a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS? I would greatly appreciate it. Oh, there's a niggles on here too. There's stuff missing still. Can't bolt this on yet. Okay. Ay. I just need to make sure everything else is set before I tighten anything. I'm not a fan. Tighten this all the way down. Can someone get me that spec? It'd be very appreciated. I'm not a fan of the German torque spec. Anybody got me a spec yet? Okay, so alternator bolts on here and here. Should be pretty straightforward there. This is the bracket for the motor mount. Yep. That's the hydraulic. That's what that goes there. I forgot. That's the tensioner mount right there. Geez, I should have cleaned all these parts too. These parts are just grimy as heck. Would be wrench tight, not ratchet for the one. What? I don't know what that means. Okay, so this guy bolts onto there. He has his own bolt, and that's it for the tensioner. I believe it's a tensioner, then the bracket for the top, and then we have what's left over on the bottom. And then I got to do the power steering. Power steering is going to be a pain. So the power steering pump has two bolts that hold it there. It's a cover. Yes, the timing cover. So usually it's 8 to 10 foot-pounds. Mr. LP, I would like to join your team. Well, join me, man. It's fun. But we need the torque spec. If someone can find it while I keep working on this. I don't want to put anything else on here before I block it. But I need that spec. If not, what car are you working on? It's a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS. For everybody watching here on TikTok and YouTube, please Google 2000 Toyota Celica GTS timing cover torque specs. If not, if no one can do that, I'll head over to my PC and then come back. But can one person do it for me? Just one. I just need one person to get me that information. I think it's 8 to 10 foot-pounds. I believe that's what it is. But could be very, very wrong. Hand tight, then half down its cover. That's not a torque spec, buddy. That's not a torque spec, sorry. Before I go further, I'll go look for this on my own. I'll go look it up. JSB, well, that's you. But I torque everything to spec. Everything I work on, I torque to spec. Sorry that you didn't do it right, but I like to do as much as I can of this doing it right, at least following the manufacturer's instructions. I do the best I can. I'm not gonna say I'm a master tech, but I'm pretty anal on this kind of stuff, so I like to make sure that they're torque to spec, All right. No one's suggesting anything. Let me go look it up really quick. Got my computer on. I'll check it right now. Did you know torque spec putting a 76 Harmonic transmission turbo was when I was 8? No. No, I'm not expecting you to know that when you were 8. I agree. I just asked AI what torque spec are. LOL. Got a jet. Holla at you, boy. Yeah, because if you put these on too tight, you're gonna squish that gasket too hard, and you can actually have an oil leak, and you don't want an oil leak. So I kind of don't want it. That's good. Yeah. Again, everybody does it their way. I just like to read a book and have the book tell me what to do, or at least some information from some source, not just assuming from somebody, right? I'd like to get some type of torque specification. The manufacturers put these together with torque specs, so why not let us do it with torque specs? So let me look it up. My computer just turned on. Let's see. Be right back. Hey, guys. Cool. 8 foot-pounds as per the Toyota manual, aka also known as 80-inch pounds. Again, from the Toyota manual. I'm going to double check. Facebook, just hand tighten, corner turn, you should be good. Okay, 8 foot-pounds. Again, gotta double check it. And then here's the actual manual, timing cover. Look at this, 80-inch pounds, also known as 8 foot-pounds. There you go. Not too hard. Good thing I got a torque wrench and it's gonna tell me how to do it correctly. Again, usually 8 to 10 is where it's usually at, so yeah. Ask it in degrees? I don't need to ask it in degrees. I just need it in foot-pounds. That's it. Why? Because my torque wrench sets everything in foot-pounds. All right. This is not an 11. Oopsies. So everything's bolted on here, so we'll do these. On there, I was looking at the manual. It didn't have a sequence, so I'm kind of going to go 2 and 2 all the way around and get it all done. 0.5 inches is 1 degree. Awesome. My torque wrench doesn't have degrees on here, so I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly how many degrees I'm going to have. So yeah, why would I want to do this in degrees when my torque wrench does it in foot-pounds? I can't give you an answer for that. Sorry. I mean, if you're trying to outsmart me, that's fine. You probably are smarter than me when it comes to this car, but you're not smarter than the book that just said 8 foot-pounds. You know, you probably do things your way. I'm doing it this way as per the manual. The manual doesn't say a specification like a pattern, so we're not going to follow a pattern, but we're going to follow kind of like our general instinct, which is glue it and send it, right? Which is honestly just kind of do a star pattern on usually any gasket in general. You want to do a star pattern. That's kind of the healthy way of doing things. It's also kind of the safest way of doing things, right? I'm not saying it's the right way. Also not saying it's the wrong way. It's the preferred way if we don't have all the information we need, right? But since you're a Toyota Master Tech, you know, by all means, do it in degrees because you have a torque wrench that does it in degrees. That's cool. I mean, I have a Harbor Freight torque wrench. I know it's probably not the most accurate torque wrench, but this is what I have for what I can afford and what makes the most sense to me. Appreciate you though. Oh, actually, this is not a Harbor Freight one. This is, I forgot what brand this one was. I think I got this one at yeah, I think I got this one at AutoZone. Because Harbor Freight was closed. Harbor Freight closes a little earlier than AutoZone, so. Go. Making sure we're still locked at 8. Still locked at 8. You should check the head bolts to see if they are torqued. That's actually not a bad idea. I do know on air-cooled engines, you do have to retorque the head bolts. I think once a year, I believe, on air-cooled motors, just because they do tend to thermally expand a lot and they tend to back out a little bit. The good news on like my air-cooled engine, I do use forged hardware, so you're allowed to retorque them and torque them to spec. In other words, doing the quarter turn and all that, you're allowed to do them, I think, up to 6 times on those bolts. I don't know if I should touch that on here. I'll research the manual and double check. I'm not gonna tell you, yeah, by all means, just torque. No, but I would, you know, I would check it. That's not a bad idea sometimes. You know, with my air-cooled motors, you know, those you do have to retorque. Believe it or not, you have to actually retorque them. It's actually in the manual. And most VW engine builders will tell you the same thing. Retorque them. Especially if you use chrome moly push rods and rocker arms. Right. Those are all set. Those are the 12s down there. We got to do the 12s on the bottom. All right, I'm going to go down to the bottom, finish the bottom ones. There's also a 12. It has to be torque spec as well. And that even set on there is the same spec, so get that taken care of. sure it's close. Alright, all those are torque to spec. There's a little tiny one. I don't know how this one goes in because there's a metal, my gasket, not my gasket, my crank sensor is right here. So I gotta see how good I can clean this. Because this one, unfortunately, is gonna require RTV. Which I really despise putting RTV on. But I couldn't buy a new O-ring that matches the size of this guy. Locally, no one had one. So I'm gonna have to make do with what I have here. Again, disappointed, but I will tell my customer that I will order a new O-ring and replace it for him. It's gonna be a really quick replacement, so. Okay, cool. Hey, the torque on those are on 12 millimeter. 14 foot. Says it's 14. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. I do have a clean little shop. It's not the best, but it's a good little shop. All right, I'll respec those 12 mil bolts a little bit tighter. I'll double check that that in a little bit since my computer is up and running. I can check those in a little bit. Let's see. That's tightened, that's tightened. These are all tight. Lower ones are done, so now we can do the tensioner bracket. And once we get the tensioner bracket installed, then we can do the motor mount bracket. And once that one's in, actually no, I'm gonna do, before I do any of that, I'm gonna do this stupid thing over here. Make sure this is all back where it belongs. I gotta do the power steering pump actually next. That's annoying. So again, the power steering pump has 2 bolts that holds it there, and they are in a spot that are extremely annoying. Yeah, they're in a pretty much right. The power, for some reason, Toyota put the power steering pump on the back of the motor, and it's like kind of like this, like a claw, and it's like in the most funkiest position, and it's hard to get to. Yeah, it sucks. It really does suck where they put the power steering pump. Don't get me wrong. I mean, who am I to judge in doing it? But yeah. Yeah, bro, I know Bowler's parts suck. Ames Phoenix, no, I'm sorry. RAV4. Kind of helps when you take the wheel off. Builders. So builders, my bad, bro. Yeah, I know, bro, builders parts suck. Okay. So yeah, again, most awkward spot for a power steering pump to be placed is on the back of the motor. Whatever, but again, Mark 1, RAV4 I was talking about. Okay, it's a great car, by the way. It's one of the best motors, best RAV4s out there. 2ZZGE. Honestly, I don't know the engine code. All I can tell you, it's from a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS. So I don't know the engine code on here. I don't see it stamped somewhere easily seen. So that's all I know. Check the hood label. Let me check. Nothing. No, there's no hood label. Looks like that's been removed or repainted. So yeah, I can't tell you. The VIN number? Let's see. I give you the VIN number if you want to write it down. Ooh, that's hard to read. Who makes their VIN numbers all black? That's impressive. But it's JTDDY32T9Y0014347. Hopefully you got that down. If not, too bad. I'm not going to read it again. All right, while I'm doing that, I'm going to go work on, not my job. What? On the side of the engine block towards the transmission. Okay. I took a 2004 Toyota truck frame, shoved it under a 64 Nova. That's dope. It's on the engine front plate transmission. I'm not going to try to hunt underneath all this crap. It's an automatic. You know how much more crap there is in here under an automatic transmission? It's on the engine front window plate of the transmission. Yeah, it's probably underneath the intake manifold and all that stuff that's on that side. Not the intake manifold, the air box and all that crap on that side. I'm not going to try to dig that. It's not easily seen. Either way, I gotta get to the next step. I gotta put the power steering pump on. Once that's back on, we're gonna do pretty much the rest of the stuff that's underneath here. Pulley on the water pump has to be put back on after the brackets are put on. And then the harmonic balancer, that has to be torqued. That's gonna be fun. I don't have any way to lock the flywheel, but we'll see how I can torque that bad boy down. All right, so let me get to work on this, all right, guys? I'll be back in a little bit. Because it's underneath here, and it's a pain. Right. Let's see here. Again, sorry if you guys can't see down here. I might bring it down a little bit. Let me get this power steering pump mounted, and I can move the cameras down here so you guys can see what I'm doing. So you can laugh and point at me while I cuss up a storm and try to get this thing stupidly installed. So I'm not a fan of this bracket. I'm just placing that into the wall. All right. I need to clean off all this oil because I'm going to be covered in oil. God, this car leaks so much oil. might have to. You know what? I'm gonna bang that back in place. I'd rather get that back out. So I have, so that pump slides around easier. Should have did that when I had the timing cover off. Things you realize afterwards when you're like, oh, I should have done that before I put the timing cover back on. Let's see what's going on here. Camaro, that's actually pretty cool. Snout. I would love for you to restore a RAV4 Mark 1. They're gorgeous little cars when they're done right. Lifted with a good, like, I'll actually turbo it too. That'd be dope. Do a full engine. I would do it. Do it 54 Phoenix. I mean, if you have to ask the community for something, and because you're not adamant about doing it, then you shouldn't do it. But if you want the car and you really like it, do it. You know, a lot of people always gave me grief when they're like, oh, dude, it's just a 2000 VW Mark IV. Why would you put so much money into it? I've been probably in its current life, okay, probably 15 to almost 20 grand into a 2002 VW GTI. Why would you do that? Why? Because I love the damn car. And I still drive it. I still drive it to this. Well, I'm going to be driving it again to this day. You know, same thing why people restore classic cars. Why? Because they like the car. You know, some people do it as an investment. Some people do it because they love it. Trying to find you guys a good spot to show you my misery right there. Here. That's where the annoyance is going to be. That's where I have to suffer. Right in there. So, inside here. This is a GTS, by the way. Toyota Celica GTS. All right. I'm down here getting this. I gotta hit this piece of the power steering. Or should I just make a little quick press to pull that? I don't know what I should do. I'm kind of torn for that. I'm gonna lower the motor though, that's for sure. It's a little too high. There we go. Okay, cool. We're good. All right, I'm not gonna do any more. So we're down here. We need to get this power steering pump mounted. I'm gonna try to get it in without moving the dang metal bracket back up. It might not go in very well because the prior owner, whoever did this pump, torqued this to high hell. It took me a while to actually just crack loose the bolts. These bolts don't go on that tight. So I'm hoping I can wiggle this back in place. I don't think I'm going to. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it. I got no room for a hammer or anything to get this back in place, so it's so annoying. So we need to press out the mounting pins. There's these little sliders on the inside of the timing cover. Those sliders hold pretty much, they slide in and out via the tension with the bolts to keep the, what's it called, the pump in place. Once it's in place, when you torque it to spec, the sliders goes in and grips the pump correctly and how it's supposed to hold it. What is it? Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's an awesome way of calling it. Self-adjusting washer. I love that. Hell yeah. Yeah, and that's what has to be pushed back out. And I'm just trying to think in my head how to do it without taking the timing cover off. Usually you could just put a socket, a nut, and a bolt, and you just pull it out that way, making a little press. But I don't have a bolt short enough and long enough that I can do this. So I'm trying to think in my head another way of pressing this thing out. It's quite annoying. I have a C-clamp, but a C-clamp won't, maybe it might. Let me try a little tiny C-clamp. I don't know, the C-clamp's too big. See, you made a little bolt contraption. Yeah, so if you get a socket and a bolt, put it in and then put a nut on the other side and then just tighten it down like a little press. It'll push it. So crazy, I'm seeing this as a recommendation. Literally had to do the same model Celica 15 years when I was in high school. Cool to see. Awesome. I'm glad that you are getting some remembering because this is annoying. Let me see if I can get a little press, make a little press out of a socket. Do a 19. Now I need a bolt. Ooh, I just got a big brain moment. Let me see. Ooh, too big, too small. Needs to be half inch. Half inch drive. Let's try it. Let's see if the solution works, guys. How far can we go? This bolt is probably not going to do it. Gosh darn it. Oh, wait, yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. We need to pull it. No, we can't do it that way because it needs to be pulled, not tightened. Actually, will it work? It should work. Yeah, this will work. Yeah. So we need to hold it on one end and then tighten it on the other. And as it's tightening, it's going to press in the locking washer into its place. And then we just rinse and repeat it on the other side. Now, the issue I have on the other side is higher up, the engine is going to hit the, what do you call the frame. So we're actually not going to be able to do it. You are right. 10 millimeter, 12 millimeter is what usually is holding this entire thing together. There we go. So right here we have the socket. Now we just got to get a wrench and a socket to crank this down. As we crank it down, it's going to press that little washer, and it's going to squeeze it in so we can actually slide the power steering pump. So we're not trying to like findangle it, because we need to be able to slide it, because we can't see the alignment holes easily because it's dark and it's also in a weird position. And this is kind of the easier way of doing it. Obviously, if I had a lift, it'd be a lot easier, but I tend not to like working on lifts. I don't mind laying on my back, chilling. So, not too bad. Let me get the socket that I need to do this job. And the wrench. I think it's a 14. Yeah, 14. 14. Yep. Now I just need weights. Okay. Here we are. And then 14. And yep, there it goes. Nice. And you only need to do a couple turns. You don't need to do much. It's not much is needed to get it loose and move forward to the next stop. Oh yeah, that worked beautifully. It's exactly what I wanted to do. Now the only problem I have now is the upper one, since the frame is kind of in the way. We're gonna have to kind of reverse the roll and put a short socket on this side and a short socket on this side. And you'll notice, see, it's already pushed out a decent amount. I just gotta redo it on the other side. So let me go grab a different socket. But that worked beautifully. Made a cool little press, and it did its job. So you gotta just kind of think outside the box. Something you don't do all the time, you know? You always gotta try to find different solutions to a lot of stuff on the fly. So I love working on cars. It's just, it keeps your brain like really thinking when you don't have all the tools, you know? And I love that. That's what makes it so much fun. Because then the moment you discover something, you're like, dude, that's gotta work. And it works. And he's like, hell yeah. And that's just so satisfying. Like, so satisfying. And shit like that works. No, there's too much angle. Let me see if I drop the engine more. That's all the way down. Nope. No. All right, all right. Not to fret. Let's see if there's a solution. Going through the back. All right. No, that's not gonna work. Got an idea. I recall. Yep. Got an idea. Give me a second here. I got a pry bar and a socket. Don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna give it a try. Lame, but the fry bar idea. I'm gonna put some pressure against it. Maybe we put something like a socket inside of here. And then kind of would actually work. Got a way to angle it nicely. Oh, it just slipped off the edge. Okay. That sucks. Let's see if we can slide it on. After all that, we probably only get one to slide on nicely. Might be enough. Let's see. Bro, yes, it worked. Yes, it worked. Woo! That actually worked. I'm not mad. Not mad. It worked. It worked. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Get in there. Yeah, buddy. That's what we want. And it didn't feel like it worked, but it did work. Oh, it feels so good. Yeah, there goes my happy thought right there. Yeah. Got it to work. Oh, it feels so good. All right, where's the other big one? There you are. Look at that. It moved it just enough. Just enough so the pump actually slid on. Feels good. Come on. That's right on, buddy. Okay. All right. And then there's 3 more on the back. So, now that I got my stuff fixed here, how's everybody else doing tonight, huh? I feel good now. What's going on? What we got? 73 people watching and no comments? What's going on? Anybody got any comments? What you guys got to say? We got 5 people on YouTube and 73 on the Tiki Talks. What's up? I'm underneath the car. I can read your comments, by the way. So this part is kind of boring. Just gotta thread things in by hand. Hi. Welcome, welcome. I'm just happy I got the pump on. It was such a nuisance. Okay. All those are on. Now we just tighten them down. Mm-hmm. 12, 14. Jeez, this nut is just not flowing for me. Oh, let's see what it's saying. Nope, nope. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Whew, almost done. We're down to like the last, 6 bolts, if that. Just trying to finalize all this little stuff. Feels good. Feels really good. Just stupid tight spots, that's all. You know, Toyota. Okay. Do that. And then we have a 12 down back here. We got 3 12s. Once those are all done, power steering pump is back online, doing its thing, doing power steering stuff. And then we got the water pump. No, the tensioner bracket, the motor mount bracket, then the water pump pulley, harmonic balancer, alternator, then the belt, and that's it for timing. And then we do the valve cover we're gonna turn the car on really quick to listen for it, and then we're gonna turn it back off, make sure everything is pretty much set. We're gonna hand crank it a couple times though, double check timing. We want to check timing. We can't check timing on the bottom, unfortunately, because the crank, the timing gear is behind the timing cover. But we can check timing on the harmonic balancer, which will give us at least a general idea if we're 100% timed with everything that we just did. One of the biggest things you got to be concerned for and pay attention to is when you crank the engine, you make sure that tensioner is in there. If that tensioner is not inside the timing cover and you crank it, it's going to skip timing. I promise you that. It will happen, mainly because the tensioner holds the chain and keeps the chain from jumping teeth. It's pretty much it's two things it has is putting tension on it and preventing it from jumping the timing. So there's that. So we're good there. Trying to think where else I need to look before I do anything else. We have 1, 2, 3 bolts here, but these are the little tiny ones. No biggie. And then that's it. All right, let me get the 3 back here tightened. Not with the 14, though. I need a 12. Here's my 12. And then once this is done, valve cover, and I'm gonna call it a night. Tomorrow, I'm gonna be pulling the suspension off and putting new struts on here. And then that's it. And then we're gonna be putting the motor in my GTI. You know, if you guys want to watch that. I don't know if you guys want to watch that. All right. Welcome, welcome. Everybody's tuning in. All right. That's done. Okay, we got the cam sensor that needs to be bolted on. Let's get that bolted on really quick. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3 bolts for that. These are all for the top. That's for that. Okay. So down here at the bottom of your engine, there are 3 bolt holes. They have 3 short bolts. All right, guys. What's going on, Bangin'? My homie, Mr. Bangin'. Put this one down here. You're going 18Z? This is a Toyota, brother. It's not a GTI or a VW. It's a Toyota. So no, we're not gonna put 18Zs on this, but I do have a set of 18Zs that I am putting on my GTI for the front, and then I got a set of Porsche boxer rears for my GTI as well. I was actually thinking about doing boxer front brakes instead of the 17Zs. I think they just tend to brake better, and they're smaller, and they're not so heavy. Because even though 17Zs are massive, they're super heavy brakes, and I don't think I'm gonna benefit much for a brake that heavy. But I do have them. I got them for dirt cheap. Oh no, it goes down and over, right? It locks this in place. No. I forgot how this one went on here. Oh, phooey. Hey, Freddie. I'll check it a little bit. I said thinking this goes. There's nothing in there, is there? Oh, there is one in here. I forgot this one goes in here. Get that one in there in just a minute. Mine have proven worthy after getting the KO4. Yeah, on a Mark 6. Did you get a Mark 6? Oh yeah, MK6. Yeah, a KO4 and a Mark 6 is legit. It's a great like OEM upgrade on a Mark 6. There is a company, just FYI, they do make an adapter plate to go IS-38 on a Mark 6, which is a pretty cool turbo setup. Right now I need my deep socket 10 and get these all tightened down. I'm waiting. There's a guy online that's been like throwing up in the air to make a bracket for an a manifold to work with an IS-38 on a Mark IV 1.8T. And that would be literal like monstrosity of like performance for such a small frame turbo on a 1.8T. It'd be a dope setup. Where's my torque wrench? torque wrench has it. No, it doesn't. It's on my bad guts. Yeah, I've been waiting for this guy. He says he wants to develop the manifold for the 1.8T to run an IS-38. I would pay big money for that. Because it'd be such a small turbo on a big car. I mean, a small car like, say, a GTI, like a Mark II with the 1.8T top. Oh my God, it'd be such a cool. This one I won't be able to torque correctly to spec. That's so annoying. Wrench. Freddie, just go to bed, guys. I know I'm noisy, but go to bed. Right. I have to put a zip tie right there. I don't know how this bracket goes on. Don't remember, but no biggie. Just a little zip tie will hold that in place. Cut it and it'll be out of its way beautifully. But it's done. I am super stoked that this is all done here. Get the zip tie, harmonic balancer. We're done down here. Water pump. Actually, no. Tensioner, bracket, water pump, pulley. Then we're done with that. Then everything down here is done. Alternator, belt, valve cover, set it on top, turn it on, double check timing, voila. All right. Grab a quick zip tie. I got one here. Yep, right here. Nice, that fits beautifully there. Just cut that off. Nothing touches that. We're clear, 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 clear. We're good. silencer. A little oil. We got some oil. All right here. Here we go. Harmonic balancer. What's next? I'll cut that zip tie in just a moment. Okay, this is where we gotta be super careful. You don't want it. Nice and in. All right, that's set. Cut that zip tie off. We got torque spec that harmonic balancer. Okay, out of the way. Okay. Water pump. Tensioner pulley next. Oh, we're done downstairs, guys. Let's get back up here. Let's get you guys back upstairs. Finish off. Right, your baby? Meow. All right. So now we're over here. There you guys go. Now we're back at the motor. Well, on the top of the motor. So we got to get the tensioner on. I'm a little annoyed. I should have washed these parts too. You planning on airlift for the shop? No. You like buying pads, I see. No, this isn't my car, so no. I will not buy a lift ever unless it's given to me. I will never buy a lift because not everyone can afford a lift. And buying a lift defeats the purpose of showing people how to do things. Because I'm an adamant believer in if I can't afford it, I know everybody else can't afford it. And I'd rather everyone be on the same page. How do you say, on how we do things together. So, kind of one of those guys that, you know, if the average person can't afford a lift, then I should not own a lift. is, where are we? I know I'm weird like that, but that's just how I roll. There you are. Right there. Okay, so now we have to keep going up to get that bolt in. There's a nut right here that holds this tensioner. And then we gotta find, there's that, and then we have that much space. I mean, we can probably get more. It's a really cramped spot, so you guys have to be able to lift this up high enough so you can get the bolt in an angle and slide it in. It's pretty stupid. Like, it's a really tight spot. Honestly, I don't remember how I got this on here or off. It's such a tight spot. Did I go backwards and then slide it in? I think that's what I did. I think I took this off. Yeah, it's a little annoying how this is designed. This is the amount of space I'm given to work with, and I have to be able to slide in this bolt over here, past the AC. There we go. No. No, you don't. And then you gotta hand tighten this in the worst way possible. There's no space. Yeah, look at all the space they give you. They give you zero space to put that bolt in. It's just as hard to put it in. It's actually harder to take, it's easier to take it out, and it's harder to put it back in. There you go. So dumb. Take this hose out of the way. See if I can go a little bit higher on the motor. Don't want to overdo it on height. So tight. It's just so annoying. Ay. I am not a fan of this stupid mount right here. Honestly, I can't remember how hard it was to take it out yesterday. I was so tired. I just can't remember. Whew. Getting a little hot in here, so I cooled down the shop a little bit. All right. Come on. Got it. Thank goodness. Thank you again for the shirt design. Get many compliments when I wear it. Sebastian Soto, which shirt? I've totally forgot, man. I am the worst with memory, so please remind me of what the shirt design was. The red GT. Oh, yeah. Oh, you ordered it. Can you post pictures of it? I never actually got to see the actual finished product. Since I kind of do third party now through my merch on my t-shirts. I would love to see. How do you like the shirt quality to begin with? Did you enjoy it, Sebastian? What's going on? I'm late to the party. What's going on here? Timing chain? Yeah, we just finished the timing chain on a 2000 Toyota Celica GTS. We just installed the water pump. We just got the harmonic balancer, the power steering pump. Now I'm working on the tensioner bracket right now, which is in a very tight spot, which has no space. And I'm holding my foul language for later if anything else happens and gives me more headaches. So not really late, it's just what's going on. I'm actually getting ready to do a haul of t-shirts. I'm gonna buy a bunch of t-shirts from my own online store. I gotta pay for my own shirts. I think the quality is good. I've washed the black one many times at this point and haven't noticed it any fading. Haven't worn the white one as much. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that it's doing good because the previous, when I was doing t-shirts in-house, honestly, personally, they weren't coming out as good as I wish I could. Like a store-bought shirt. So I'm happy that they're holding up. Please post them and tag them on Instagram if you can. And if you don't mind, you know, send me copies of the picture so I can post it as well. I would love it on my Instagram and put it on my YouTube. Because winter is coming. You know, since summer's here, you know, summer always comes and goes. Winter is coming, so I'm going to have fall gear coming. We're going to have the Dickies jackets. So the crew jackets we're going to have for PincheAls Garage. You'll buy the jacket and I will send you your name on a patch so you can have someone embroider it for you. I might embroider it for you. It depends on where I can get the jackets at a good price. But yeah, the black Dickies jackets, we're going to be doing those. Again, they were a hit last time. I want to do them again. They're cool, just the Dickies shop jackets. I really wanted to do those again. Thank you. The coasters I make in-house. So I make the coasters here. So I did ship those to you, I remember that. So I appreciate the support. Finally was able to get a wrench on here, so this will speed up the process a little bit. Here it is. There's that. Okay, tensioner is done. I'm gonna put the alternator back in. Alternator should be in because once I put the bracket in, it will not allow me to get the alternator on. So we got to do the alternator next. All right. Alternator is floating. We still got a bolt to go on here. Once the other bracket goes on, we can tighten that down, get it where it's supposed to be. There, that goes there. There's 2 nuts down here. This and that one, that one, these 3 all fit together. And that. None. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see how this. I gotta clean this bracket up so bad. It's so dirty. And I love the AI summary. An automotive engineer is working on the Toyota Celica timing chain. That is hilarious. Can you just say like a guy who likes to work on cars is working on a timing chain? Come on, AI. I ain't no engineer. I gotta turn off those AI summaries. They're really funny. All right. So this goes here. This holds that alternator there. No, that's upside down. It goes like this. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, none of that's lining up. Okay, so one bolt left, and that holds that alternator there. And then I got to find the bolt that goes onto the actual alternator down below. And then here, which is right here. Come on. A little bit more angle. There we go. Cool. All the bolts are on now. Now I'll tighten everything to spec. Anybody got anything going on tonight? Besides watching me do this? There's 112 there. And this sucker is not lined up all the way. There we go. R14s. Yes, sir, they are 14s. I went to a 3-hour round trip motor ride. Hell yeah! I just did a trip too. I met, again, I've been meeting people out here in Arkansas, and I did a kind of a 1-hour ride with locals to see, you know, their routes around town, and it's beautiful. Some of the places that I haven't been to, right around the corner from my house, with lakes and stuff. Oh my gosh. So very cool, very cool. I'm getting ready to do a big trip on my bike soon. I want to do I think in October, I want to go do Hot Springs, the Ozarks, like a big old round trip. Have my wife and my kids meet up in an area, and then we ride. I ride pretty much there and wait for them there. You know? But very cool. Nice. What is the landscape like? I'm in PNW, mostly hills. So out here, it's flat. There are some hills. We don't have like mountains, but we have a lot of hills, but lots of forests. I mean, like a lot of forests. It's beautiful. A lot of forests, a lot of lakes, a lot of rivers, creeks. I mean, it's a beautiful. I mean, Arkansas is gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, and I haven't even gone anywhere far yet. If you guys are watching, Google Arkansas, Hot Springs, Arkansas, and how long you've been working on this car. Technically, time-wise, if I didn't count, I guess the teaching, I'd say about 5 hours, maybe more. But I kind of really anal on some of the stuff I've been doing. You know, I've been doing a lot. I cleaned it. I power washed the valve cover and the timing cover. I had to go pick up some more parts because there were some other issues with it. So, you know, I'd say 5-7 hours, give or take. I'm probably gonna make about 200 bucks for this job. Not too bad. So I'll be making about $10 an hour. I'm pretty happy with it though. I'm liking how it's turning out and how well it's been coming out for me. It's a really good learning experience on this one because this is the first time I've actually done a Toyota Celica, so I know how much of an annoyance it is now, but I love how easy it was once I understood everything. Again, first time doing this car, pretty easy once you understand what everything does and how everything goes in and how near impossible most of the stuff is to take out. But yeah, not too bad. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That sounds like fun. A few weeks we went to Utah, spent a few days in Bear Lake, SLC, and Moab. Oh my God, Moab's so gorgeous. Been there a few times. I love it. I'm definitely going to be doing a couple trips out that way. Probably next year. I want to do, I kind of want to do more Midwest stuff. I want to do for spring, like right when winter ends, I want to go up and do the Midwest. I know it snows there, so spring is a lot later over there. So definitely want to go, or go during like September, October. You know, when it's not so hot. Dang, at least there wasn't any more major problems besides the timing chain. Hopefully other issues weren't hard to fix. No, I mean, we had so I'll show you why it took, I'll show you one of the reasons why it took so long. I didn't throw it away yet. I mean, there was a lot more, but this was all inside the timing cover. Okay? You should not have any RTV. If you're going to have some, you're talking about almost nothing. There's only like 2 spots on the timing cover on this cars that require RTV. Look how much RTV I had to pull out of this timing cover. So the previous person who worked on this reused the timing cover gasket and just smothered it in RTV. This is what I was able to pull out of it. I have no idea how much more is on the pickup tube because I haven't pulled the oil pan yet. But look at this. This is a handful of the RTV that came out of this car. That's horrible. And this also was on the water pump, which has a gasket. This was on the timing cover, which has a gasket. This was on the tensioner, which has an O-ring. This was also on the crankshaft sensor, which also has an O-ring. The guy, whoever did the work on this previously, just said, you know what? We're going to use all the RTV. Why? Because we have a tube of it. I'm going to throw this away, by the way. That's in the trash now. So yeah, that's just why this job took so long, because I noticed how many mistakes were done prior to it, and I didn't want to kind of like do the job and be like, it's going to be fine, and then you notice, I should fix that. No, it's a 4-cylinder. Yeah, no, more than likely, I don't think that the mechanic was tired of the job. I think the mechanic was just a shade tree mechanic and just said, you know what? It's done. Let's just finish it. Because a lot of the hardware on here was over torqued. A lot of the stuff on the timing cover was just way too tight. It's not the way it's supposed to be done. And so I felt bad for the guy. So I took it upon myself to do it right. I was irritated. Sometimes you just got to take the reins and do it, you know? Make sure the customer is taken care of. And this guy doesn't have much money, so I would feel so bad if I did this job and I just said, F it, just do it, get it done, and send him on his way, and like 2 months later, the car's just done. I'd feel bad, you know? I'd feel so bad. And I wouldn't say it's my fault, you know, but it would have to be my fault because I'm the last person who touched it, right? That's kind of how that works. Right, so that's all tightened up. This one I got done. Now we gotta do the water pump. Water pump pulley has to go back on. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I don't care about the money. I make sure the customer is taken care of. I'd rather see this car around town all the time, knowing that I was able to take care of someone really, and they were happy about it. You know? Believe it or not, I don't quote prices on repairs because I don't have a labor price. I charge whatever the customer wants to pay. If the customer wants to pay me fucking nothing, then the customer pays me nothing. But as long as they pay for their parts, that's all I care about. I'm not buying people parts, that's for sure. Okay, well, that's gonna suck tightening. That really is not a, I don't have a tool to hold it. Let me see if I have something I can hold it with. Z2ZZGE, I think so. I think that's what it is. Can't tell you because I don't know. Can't read the engine code on the side of the block. No, not enough room to counter hold that. Yep. I need sequence pliers. The next one. Very rarely use them too, so I never need them. I just have to put them on with the air gun ratchet. It only goes on like 20 foot-pounds, so it's not a really strong ratchet. So be forewarned right now, people. Air ratchet's gonna kick on, and it's a little noisy. So I have spoken. It is loud. Make sure you turn down the volume. My cats are scared now. I made the noise. Such an awkward position. That's it. I think that goes on 20 or 30 foot-pounds, so it's a little too snug, but I have no way of counter holding that pulley with anything right now. I mean, I could probably use the belt once it goes on, but I don't know if that'll do a good enough job for that. So I'm just not gonna sweat it. But thanks for tuning in. So next step is the belt route and install with the tensioner. Now that we're here, I gotta see where and how we route this. Because it's a hodgepodge of belts here. Holy smokes, is this overly complicated? I gotta look up a diagram on this one. Give me a second here. Because that's all that's left now. I got the bottom tightened here and here. I gotta tighten this guy here. This guy's not tight yet. Oh, and then the ground. We're missing the ground wire that goes right here. And then that should be it for everything on this side of the engine. I can just slap the valve cover on top really quick, put everything on, and then crank her around. Make sure. Oh, and I gotta tighten the. No, I did tighten these back here. Okay. Yes, these are tightened. Okay. Just trying to think what else I need. I do need to put that back on. There's 2 bolts for this one. We have that and that for the wiring and the alternator. Oh, this goes on the throttle body cable, which is mounted down here. Plugged in somehow like this, I forgot. Yeah, something like that. Oh, no, this is the compressor. This is the throttle body cable. Because the throttle body's, the throttle body cable sensor, whatever that is. That's all done. This goes back over here. This bolts onto here, like that. That's all taken care of. The motor mount goes in. All right, we're good. We're almost done. Almost done. I'm gonna look up the belt diagram really quick before I mount, plug anything else in or mount anything. Gotta tighten this one to 12 in here. This alternator bracket. Ground wire right here. Anybody got any questions or anything like that? Anybody on Instagram, YouTube? What's going on, everybody? I know it's not a VW on YouTube, but we're doing that tomorrow. That's why I'm trying to finish this up right now. Well, technically it is tomorrow right now. It's 12:43 at my house in Arkansas. But anybody else? Any questions? Anything? You guys excited? I'm excited to get my Mark IV back up and running. Because once it's up and running, I gotta go take it to a fabricator to get a downpipe made. Because I need a downpipe for my GTI. I want a pretty one. I don't want a cheap one made. I want a full stainless steel downpipe. Since I went internally wastegated, I don't need to worry about a screamer pipe. So that'll save me some money there. I'm actually gonna rebuild the turbo that was on my car previously. And we're gonna do we're probably gonna do a turbo giveaway. We're gonna give away my turbo and a downpipe with a diverter valve, a blow-off valve with it, and maybe some injectors and possibly a tune. We'll probably do that as a giveaway for someone on YouTube or TikTok. What do you guys think? You think that's a good idea? Should we give away a turbo kit? I think it'd be pretty dope. Sounds cool. That's it. That's it. Oh man. I don't get anybody trying to be like, yeah, let's do it. You know, it's just like whatever. I want people to get excited for free stuff, man. How many people out there giving you free turbo kits? No one. Especially the Mark IV turbo kit. Oh. That's done. That's done. That's a 10. That needs to be tightened. Get all my loose ends taken care of. Well, stay tuned. We might do it. I don't know yet. It's one of those things, you know, I got to get enough people wanting to want a contest and win it. But if I don't have enough people wanting to do it, then I don't do it. You know? Yeah, people will be like, yeah, I want free stuff. But then they realize, you know, no, this is 100% stock Toyota GTS, Celica GTS. He wanted me to fix the noise from the timing chain. And he's all like, well, can you just fix that noise? I'm all like, dude, it's a timing chain noise. We have to replace the timing chain. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, man. The timing chain was bad. The guides were pretty much on their way out. The gears were way out of round. I mean, everything was just worn out on this car. Again, this car has a shit ton of miles. It needs a new chain, and it got one. Got new gears, top and bottom, new chain, new tensioners, new guides. I mean, it's all done right. You know what I mean? And then I got a valve cover gasket for him. Since I had to pull the valve cover off anyways to do this job, you have to put a new gasket on here whenever this cover gets off, unfortunately. And I have no history on that valve cover, so it's kind of one of those things. If you don't know when the last time the valve cover was done, then you just replace the valve cover gasket. You just got to do it. Okay. I gotta look up the diagram for this. So exactly, at least because it was making a lot of rattling, and I'm all like, dude, you need to fix that. He's all, oh, it's just leaking a little bit of oil, bro. You need to fix that. because he wanted me just to fix the suspension. And I told him, dude, it's dirt cheap. You do it for like $100 for the parts. You know, fix that problem, because if not, you're gonna end up having no car if that thing fails on you. All right, found the diagram. That's overly complicated. Holy smokes. So, yeah, that's how that goes. Okay. That is a overly complicated routing diagram. Holy smokes. All right, here's the belt. So we start at the power steering pump, because that's probably the easiest place to start. And then we go down and under. No, that's wrong. What in the what? Power steering pump all the way over to the alternator. No, that makes no sense, because that's not gonna grab the belt. What the hell? That's weird. Okay. Yeah, that's wrong. That's not gonna route correctly. What the hell? I'm gonna start by the alternator. No. Yeah, I'm gonna start the alternator and then go differently. Like this. That makes sense to go up and over like this. Under. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Wow, that's an overly complicated belt install. So we're gonna pinch this one over here. Route this through the power steering pump. And then we gotta go down and under, over. That way. No. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. The last part of the belt down here. That seems very wrong. Yeah, no, it looks right, but it feels very wrong. It doesn't reach where it needs to reach. It has to go like this. And there, over here. not right. Yeah, that's not routed right. This is the timing belt. Yeah, well, that's done. No, the GTS was a 4-cylinder. Junk that shit, Mike. Oh, man. Why is it not matching? That makes no sense. Like, I got it, but where I want to, this belt is no longer reaching the alternator. It's supposed to have enough slack to be halfway up the pulley of the alternator. Then you pull on the tensioner, then all the rest of the slack is there. But that is not happening, like, at all. All the slack is like non-existent, and I'm like seriously pissed off. Like, why am I missing so much slack on this belt? I don't know why. Okay, that's correct. I feel like that's wrong. That's what I feel like is wrong right here. Is where the water pump belt is routed. That's what I think is wrong, is where the water pump is. It is very frustrating because there's no space. Like, you know, usually 4-cylinders, I worked on a lot of Volkswagens and other cars with 4-cylinders. There's a lot more space than this. Okay. That, I routed the water pump incorrectly. Okay, that makes sense. No. Don't fall. There's my slack. See? That's what I was looking for. See, you know your belt is routed correctly when it's halfway to the pulley of the alternator on, or whatever pulley it needs to go over. It's typically halfway, and then the other half is on the tensioner once you give it the slack. And, that's it. This, my fan belt lever here. Pull on it. No, don't fall. No. Oh, jeez. No, Superman, no. Oh, come on. Okay, there. Jeez, this is so annoying. Alright, no cats next to me. All right. Accessory belt is. Good night, good night. Same, I think, on the IS. Yeah, I agree. Compressor on the 06 I-35 couldn't see any of the bolts. I believe you. Dude, that's such an even tighter working space. All right, that's done. So everything down here is now done. I'm gonna turn on the car, put the valve cover on just for a minute. We're not gonna tighten anything down. And then we're gonna turn it on and see pretty much, oh, we gotta crank the, oh, see, almost forgot. I gotta torque the dang crank bolt. So, see, almost forgot, man. That's definitely not these. Is it on the inside? Yeah, here it is. Let me see if I can. Oh, too fast. Ooh. Barely got that on. I put that on low pressure so I can torque that. Let me see what torque spec is on that crank bolt or harmonic balancer bolt, because that really doesn't hold anything on the crank. Let's look up that torque spec. It shouldn't be that tight because that thing came off super quick. Cats are weird. £87 foot. Okay. That's not too shabby. All right, let's get a bigger torque. I mean, impact, not impact, torque wrench. And get that sucker set to 87 foot. I don't think I'll be able to do it with the engine in the air. I might have to. I don't have anything to lock the crankshaft. That's what sucks. I need to be able to lock the crank. Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly believe it needed. The previous owner, I'm more than likely, did this a long time ago for as cheap as possible. Like, as cheap. And it shows. I'm gonna see where I can lock the crank. Can I see the crank right here? I have no way to counterhold it though. Yeah. Here, if I put it in gear on the ground, it might let me. Yeah, I have no way of torquing this to spec correctly on this car. My irritation is right now. I don't have the crank locking tool. Well, don't want to do this. I hate doing this. But we're going to do it for 2 seconds. 1, 2. That's it. I don't want to do that. I'm already irritated. I don't know why I did that. It made me angry. That gun at full power does about 100 foot-pounds. It's 20 pounds over stock, so I'm not a fan of that, doing that. That already made me pissed off, so I might have to remove that bolt and retorque it because I got to figure out a way to lock the crank. Park it under a tree during Florida. Underrated and overhated unless you want to go fast. All right, that's done. Belt is now nicely tensioned. I'd like to see that. All right, we're gonna put the valve cover on really quick. Again, we're not sealing the top of this engine until I can confirm everything is set. Clean the valve cover too. Falling down. Oh, tube seals. I keep reading about tube seals. Tube seals. There we go. So I'm not torquing anything down. Just putting this back on super quick. See all this? This is why we need a valve cover gasket. These are covered in oil. That's how you know those tube seals have failed. When they're soaked in oil. And that means when they're soaked in oil, you're gonna foul up your spark plugs. And you're gonna have another fun problem a couple 100 miles, 1,000 miles down the road, misfiring like crazy because it's soaked in oil. But again, we're not fixing that right now. All we want it to do is turn on. It's gonna leak a little bit of oil because I'm not gonna run it. I'm inside a shop. I'm definitely not gonna run this long term. Don't want to get myself carbon monoxide poisoning, you know? One of those things too. I might open the door for a little bit. Who knows? Ah, see, this guy's gonna have probably a misfire soon. This is now cracked right here. This is what happens when ignition coils get a lot of oil. The oil will pretty much foul up the plastic and will make the plastic more brittle over time and will cause it to crack. Yeah, so definitely gonna need a ignition coil soon. I don't know, like now, but it will go bad eventually. All right, everything's plugged in. It's gonna have a gnarly vacuum leak right here. I don't care. Doesn't need to be perfect. Throttle cable's over here. Gotta plug that in. Might cause a vacuum leak, might not, I don't know. Gotta plug in this throttle cable. Just gotta be careful. Okay, that should be enough just to fire it up and to see if we're golden on timing. I'm gonna crank it a couple more times by hand before I turn it on. Gotta make sure we're good. One good thing about doing a timing job, once you finish the timing job, rotate the engine 2 full rotations. This is an interference engine. If this is not timed correctly, you will hit the pistons with the valves and it will not allow you to rotate the engine. So if it's timed correctly, that is a good, number one, that's one good sign that the engine is timed correctly. If you do rotate it and it locks up, back up the engine about half a turn and do it all over again because you messed up on timing. The thing is, be super careful when you're cranking, because when you pass a piston, it's going to drop really hard on you. All right, it's rotating. Whew, that's tiring. But all right, doing good. Make sure nothing falls in or on top. Again, I'm only going to run this for about a minute, like 15-20 seconds. I don't want this to, number one, I don't want to die of carbon monoxide poisoning, and also I don't want it to leak oil all over the place. So quick. Plug in the battery. Hey, we know the battery works. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. No more ticking noise coming out of this guy. Sounds so good. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that sounds perfect. I'm gonna turn this off really quick. But yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. no sticky noise. It had a loud tick. Hell yeah. And that right there, everybody, is called a job well done. Whew, that sounds so good. Yeah, no, when this guy brought it over, you turn it on and all you hear is and it wasn't like really loud, but it was loud and it was obvious. It no longer has that ticking noise. I am so happy for this guy. That means we actually fixed the major problem on this car. And it sounded great turning on. It didn't sound any knock or anything else. So no new noises. So that means it's fixed. All right, PincheAls. Another one in the books for me. I'm happy. I am super happy for me and for this customer. Because he's going to have a really good working car again. And that makes me happy. Because he's going to be able to drive it and enjoy it for a long time to come. And huge thanks to the guy who gave me the advice to not take the pin off the hydraulic tensioner and rotate the engine 2 times and the pin comes off on its own. That is dope. I did not know Toyota or anybody engineered something like that where the tensioner automatically does its job on its own. That's so dope. That is so dope. I'm not even gonna lie. Those are the small things that like make doing this work so rewarding and satisfying, that you know something mechanical did its job in the background even without you seeing it. That's freaking dope. Come on, you stupid little hose. Oh, do I hate metal lines so much? All right. Pretty cool. Yeah, see, we got oil seeping around the gasket, so we have to clean that up afterwards. Does this engine go up higher or go up lower? Looks like it goes up higher, based off that motor mount height. Yep, there it is. Start the nuts on the bottom. So I'm a little irritated on this car's design. It looks like the engine fell back this way. But no biggie. What you want to do when that happens, if it doesn't want to line up, try to get down a couple bolts by hand. Okay? What's going to happen is when you get a couple bolts all the way down, you're going to drop the motor onto the frame, and we're going to need to readjust the jack to pull the engine this way when we lift it up, so that way we can align it correctly. Now sometimes you can do it by getting it higher than it's supposed to be and kind of like pulling it where it should go, but it's like off by like a good like 3-4 millimeters. So another trick is you can get a screwdriver in there and see if you can get it to line up. But usually you're gonna have to get the motor mount off, and then you have to get the jack to pull the engine in this direction so you can pull it towards you and get the motor mount actually attached correctly. This is kind of an issue when you have 4 motor mounts. I'm traditionally used to 3, left, right, and back. This one has front, back, left, and right. It makes it a little bit more difficult when you start doing some stuff, but you know, either way, it becomes a nuisance, but you can do it. It's not that bad. So yeah, we're gonna take the motor, we're gonna put it back down. It's gonna fall right on that. It's gonna sit on that. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to pull the motor back by putting the jack in the oil pan, lifting the oil pan in a different spot. And that will come from this time. It's probably all valve cover oil. There you go. Here's the valve cover. You don't want it. Let's see if that works better. Alright, so that's on there. See if we can get that up there. There we go. Go, got one. Yeah, see the back of the valve cover leaked a lot of oil doing that quick turn on. It was enough to, yeah, soak the back of the intake manifold, exhaust manifold and everything. So I got a lot of cleaning to do. Was the suspension annoying to replace on this car? Is it easy? I remembered hearing you say something. Well, we're doing the suspension in the morning. It's not too bad. One of my favorite things about Japanese cars, they bolt on their suspension. I know it's kind of weird. European suspensions slides into the strut, where Japanese just bolt on. They have 2 bolts on the bottom, 3 on top, and it just falls out. European, they bolt on the top and then they sleeve them into the strut. You have no idea how hard that is to remove when it's a factory suspension. When you do aftermarket, it's so much easier because when you do like a lowering suspension, the shock tower is shorter, so everything just falls out and it's just so much easier. But when the whole entire assembly is under compression, you have to split open the strut, hit it down with a hammer. Oh my God, it's so annoying. It's so annoying. But again, 100% doable. I've done it thousands of times. It's just annoying. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm gonna call this quits because I'm done on the stuff I want to get done on, where I wanted to be tonight. And I'm exactly where I want to be tonight. A little too late though. You know, I wanted to be here around midnight, not at 2 in the morning. But I'm still very happy that it ended up working out a lot better than I thought. So I am not angry. I am pretty happy with the outcome. So if you guys are enjoying what you're watching today, please head on over to my YouTube channel, PincheAls Garage. Follow me on Instagram, PincheAls Garage. Follow me on Facebook, PincheAls Garage. Go to my online store, PincheAlsGarage.com. So all I recommend is follow my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel really does help pay for a lot of the content we generate here on the channel. TikTok pays absolutely nothing. So I'm not here to ask for stars and hearts and roses and galaxies. I don't ask for that stuff. What I ask for is just head on over to those all those social media platforms that I mentioned. Just like and subscribe and enjoy what I do. Share it, please. This allows us to earn some income, to buy more tools, to get more specialty tools. And what it also helps with is we do prizes. We give away stuff all the time. I'd love to give away a complete toolbox set. I'd love to give away like a, who knows, maybe a turbo kit, like I mentioned earlier. Just follow the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel helps a lot, everybody here watching. Again, TikTok pays absolutely nothing. I don't ask for anything from TikTok. I just want people to go from TikTok over to my YouTube and watch the content. I tend to dual stream TikTok and YouTube, so that way people go from one side to the other, so I can get more viewers on that. Other than that, thank you for watching, everyone. The Toyota Celica GTS has been a success in the repair. It sounds phenomenal. It doesn't sound like it's ticking like a ticking time bomb anymore. So my customer is going to be very happy that he's going to have a car for years to come after this repair. Hopefully he doesn't beat on it like crazy and takes care of it, I'm just very happy of the results of this repair, and I got to actually do one. I've never done one before. This is the first time I actually done this. And so it was an amazing learning experience for me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. All right. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful night. Be safe out there. As always here at PincheAls Garage, we're going to break, we're going to fix, and repeat. If you see another dubber on the road, give him a thumbs up, give him a deuces, respect one another, and always love everyone. Have a wonderful night, everybody.